This is the Moto Morini X-Cape 650X. This has been designed and developed in Italy, manufactured in China, and they have gone to town with this with only one aim in mind: to see this own the middleweight adventure segment. And good chance it will because of this. And that is down to the insane equipment that the X-Cape 650X comes short with. At the front you have 50mm Marsocchi fully adjustable forks and 175mm of suspension travel. At the back you have a shock which is adjustable for preload as well as rebound damping and 135mm of travel. You have a 19-inch front wheel, a 17-inch wheel at the back, which means you have a solid 200mm ground clearance at your disposal. At the same time, the seat height is very approachable at 810mm. You get tubeless spoke wheels, you get Pirelli Scorpion Rally STR tires, really sticky tires. You have a dedicated off-road mode which switches off the rear ABS. At the heart of it all, you have a 650cc parallel twin mill which pumps out about 60 horsepower and 54 Newton meters of torque in a manner which is so forgiving that it makes riding in the dirt less of a balls in the mouth and more of a fun and smile on your face kind of affair. The throttle action is surprisingly long. The engine only comes into its own around 4000 RPM and really gets going around 6000 RPM. So here in the dirt, actually, that makes the engine very manageable, especially if you're new to riding off-road. And then there's the way that the X-Cape hauls ass. I mean, at 230 kgs wet, this is a heavy bike, especially for a middleweight ADV. But it's half as intimidating, mainly because of the low seat height and the weight distribution. Now don't get me wrong, this is kind of top heavy. It doesn't tip over as progressively as, say, the BMW 1250 GS. But having said that, the ergonomics, especially when you're standing up and riding, are spot on, which makes it easier to control the bike, and you can tweak it further because of the 3 riser settings that you have here, which is very cool. And then when you pick up the pace, the way the suspension just absorbs everything, the grip which you get from the tires and the confidence that the chassis inspires, I am really impressed, because this is far more capable than any other adventure middleweight in this category. So much so that I'm surprised that this doesn't get a bash plate as standard, and I would have also preferred a slipper clutch to make the actuation a little bit smoother, the clutch actuation, and also from the rear wheel to not hop around as much under downshifts. And as impressive as this is off-road, it continues to shine on when you hit the road. Here on the road, the ergonomics when you're sitting down are again upright, comfortable, spacious. You also have adjustable levers so the motorcycle fits you like it should. But I do feel that the seat could do with a little more padding, especially for longer days in the saddle. But it makes easy work of the short sprints. The pillion seat on the other hand is well padded, it's flat, makes two-up riding a very comfortable affair. The adjustable windscreen too is perhaps one of the better ones that I've experienced. It keeps the wind blast to a minimum and also reduces the buffeting to a large extent. On the engine front, Yeah, you do have to wind it a little bit. You have to keep the engine around the 4000 RPM, and then you have enough juice, just to cruise, enough poke on tap, irrespective of what gear you're riding in. It also makes the engine quite tractable in the sense you can ride around in the third gear in the city. Speed breakers can be dealt with without needing to downshift just by feathering the clutch. But on the refinement front, yes, there are a little bit of vibes which creep in around 6000 RPM, first on the pegs, then onto the handlebar. But the good news is they do settle down once the revs climb. So on the right stretch of road, the bike is capable of easily doing about 145, 150 kilometers an hour with minimum vibrations with the engine in its sweet spot. Also, I'm really impressed with the braking. You have really good stopping power, you have really good feel because of the steel braided lines. And then you have an 18-liter fuel tank, which is good enough as long as you are nice and calm with your throttle to at least eke out a 320 odd kilometer range, if not more, on the X-Cape 650X. And also for a motorcycle which is this heavy and which has a 1490 mm long wheelbase, it actually also tackles the corners pretty well thanks to the leverage of the wide handlebar and the really good weight distribution. And then of course on the tech front, this one really kills it. So you have all LED lighting, you have a 7-inch TFT display with Bluetooth connectivity, you have backlit switches, you also get tire pressure monitoring system as standard, which is unheard of for a motorcycle in this segment. But I know what you're thinking, what's the catch? Well, in all fairness, the only thing which I really don't like on the X-Cape 650X is the position of the radiator fan, because it diverts all the hot air from the engine straight onto your legs. And I would have also liked the gearbox to be a little bit smoother, especially when you're in a mood for a quick one. But to be honest, I think these are things that I can live with. The bigger question here is the limited service network of Moto Morini in India, and of course the reliability, which is still a big unknown. But if the X-Cape does prove to be reliable, then there is no doubt that this will dethrone my previous middleweight adventure favorite, the Versys 650, as well as the VStrom 650, and take over the mantle of the most capable and the most value for money middleweight adventure bike that you can buy today in India.